Now this is satin fabric I'll be working with. I really don't know how many it's here, how many yards it's here, but this is almost 2 yards of fabric I'll be using for the top. And here I also have cutouts of lace fabric. I used the full lace to make the skirt of this top, so I made cutouts of the patches, and I'll be using it to design the top much later when we are done. So first thing first, I will be cutting the front piece with this pattern paper. Now, as usual, I'll just fold it in twos, and then I'll go ahead to measure the wideness of this top. Okay, the wideness, it's depending on how wide you want the down part to be. Here I'm using 7 inches. You can use 8 inches depending on how wide you want yours to be. And then I'll take the length of the top. Whatever the length of your top is, just go ahead, add folding or same allowance for the lining turning, and then I'll be subtracting 5 inches, just like you're seeing right now. I'm subtracting 5 inches from this top because it's an off shoulder top. Okay, and then the next thing I'm taking out is the bust points, which is also your nipple point. So measure from the nipple, from the shoulder of this client to the nipple, and you mark it right there. The next vertical line I'm taking, it's the under bust measurement, and that is it. So go ahead and measure your under bust measurement, and the next thing is the half length of the top. And from this half length, okay, that is where my 6 pieces drafting, or the 6 pieces effect, is going to be starting from. Okay, the 6 pieces is actually a flare that comes all the way to the end of the top. So I will mark it there. You're going to see how I'm going to put that, attach that flare. All right, now let me just rule out these lines for you to understand better. So here is my chest line, and the next is the nipple points, under bust, and the last is the half length. Now the remaining part is the down part, and my flare will be starting right from this half length. Okay, now let's go ahead and draft the cup. Now on this nipple line, or the nipple point line, you're going to be dividing your nipple to nipple measurements. That is what you use as your measurements to draft out this cup, like your bust span from one nipple to the other. So mine, I'm using 4.5 inches. On the under bust, I used 4 inches, and I'll also repeat the same 4 inches for the half length. And on the chest line, whatever I take on the under bust, I'm still going to repeat it on the chest line, which is 4 inches. So I'll just mark it there. Now guys, the thing is, on the nipple points, I made use of 4.5. On the under bust, on the half length, and on the chest line, I made use of 4 inches. And this is because of the client's measurements. All right, so I'm going to be connecting from this chest line. I'll make a curve on the nipple points and all the way down to the half length. So first of all, let me use a straight ruler to connect the straight line from the under bust to the half length. Now from the chest line, you watch me now as I make a curve. First of all, I'll be using dotted lines because this actually helps me to get my curves right. All right, so just do what works for you. Just make sure there is a curve from your chest line to the nipple point. So guys, this is what it looks like. You can see there must be a curve at your nipple point. Okay, now let's assume you used 3 or 4 inches. Let's assume you used 4 inches for your nipple point measurement, which is your nipple to nipple, meaning that the measurement you'll be taking for the under bust, the half length, and the chest line is going to be 3.5. So whatever you use for your nipple points, you're going to be subtracting half inch from it for the other measurements. I hope it's clearer. Now on the down part, now remember the wideness is 7 inches. Okay, now from this point, I'll be connecting a straight line down to the end of this blouse. So at the end of the day, it's going to look like a flare, all right? And that is your 6 pieces cotton. Normally, it's supposed to go straight down. If you were cutting a normal top, it's supposed to be straight. But since it's going to be having a pieces or a flare, now this is why I have this slanted measurement. So I'll just use my hands to blend it, all right? To blend it up down to the end of the length. So this is what we have, and remember, this is the center piece of the front, all right? This is the center piece only. So we're going to cut this out and then use it to manipulate the two sides as well. Now this is how your center front is going to be looking like, all right? Now for the side, you're going to take a new pattern paper and then you're going to capsize this front piece just the way you see me doing it right now. Meaning that the place you marked on, like the place you did your measurements initially, is going to be facing the folded side of the pattern paper like this. Now you're going to be cutting. I'm taking measurements of the lengths, so it's going to be equal. So just follow the step, just follow what I'm doing. I'll be trimming out from the top, and I'll also follow the drafting from this middle piece, okay? Just like repeating the measurements on this other side, and when you return it back to position, this is what it will look like. So it's like repeating the drafting you made on the center front. Okay, now you just place it slightly on top of the side. Now place it slightly on top of the side fronts, so that you want to take measurements for your bust. You'll be dividing your bust into 4 inches and then add desired allowance to it, okay, just like I'm doing right now. So guys, you would want to use a tape or a cello tape to hold it down so that your fabric or your pattern paper doesn't move. Now at the under bust, I'm trying to add, you're going to add the that measurement you earlier removed. Remember, there's a dart of 2 inches at the middle, as you can see. So make sure that at every point of your taking measurements, you add your desired allowance. Now at the other side or the outer part of this top, this is what I am trying to do. I'm trying to also take the slanted measurement I took on the center front, all right? And at the down part, I'll be coming up by half an inch just to eliminate that sharp edge that usually takes place at the end of the top. So I'll just make a curve at the down using this small curve ruler, and I'll just make a curve at the down. Okay, so now this is the shoulder part. Remember, we eliminated 5 inches from the top, okay, earlier. So you'd want to come down by extra 2 or 3 inches down. Don't take more than 3 inches, else your armhole is going to be too wide because this is an off shoulder. So there I'll be curving out my armhole measurements. Now go ahead and also repeat the bust measurements you took at the nipple point. You're going to be repeating the same bust measurement at the side, and also, or you can also use your shoulder measurements divided by 2 and add extra 2 inches allowance to it. All right, so now this is where I'm going to be curving out my armhole curve. Okay, now this is just a temporary curving. When we are done with this top, after joining it, guys, we are still going to reshape this armhole curve. So that curve you see there is not the real one. We're going to be reshaping it at the end of the day. So this is what my center fronts and my side fronts look like. All right, there are so many ways to cut out a bustier cup. This is just one way, and I feel this is a simple way for beginners. All right, so you can see the 6 pieces effect at the down. All right, now the next thing, let's move over to cutting the back. First thing, I have ruled out 1.5 inches, and that is going to serve as my zipper allowance. So all your measurements are going to be starting from that zipper allowance. Now you're going to also take the measurement from for the length. You can see I have ruled out the line from the top, and also now I have taken the length of the back piece. So you want to make sure that the back and the front is equal. That is why I used the center front as a guide to take the length. So repeat the same measurements all through the waist, so then just rule a straight line on them. Now, after getting your working space just like this, the next thing is to take your dart measurements. All right, so I'm also using 4.5, the same dart measurements I used for the fronts. I'm also going to be using it for the back, but this time around I'll be working with 4.5 all through until I get to the half length of this top. All right, and this is for the back. So maybe you want to use the middle part of the front to also get your vertical lines so that it's going to be equal. So that is my half length measurements, okay, from the shoulder. So I'll rule that out, and that is going to also help me to get my 6 pieces effect. So just watch exactly what I am doing. To make it easier, I'm also working with my front piece at every point so that everything is going to be equal. Now, this is me taking 4 inches for my neckline, and the depth is 1 inch. So I'll just use a curve ruler to connect it. So that is the neckline for the back piece. Now go ahead and cut it out. This is serving as the middle for the back piece, the center back. This is what it's going to look like. Alright guys, moving forward, you want to repeat the same thing you did at the front. You can see me capsiding it over. Alright, just turn it over, and you're going to be using the side measurements, the measurements you have by these corners. Now that is what you're going to repeat to get your side back. Okay, so just go ahead and duplicate it like so, and then you also trace out the length. Remember, you already cut out your neckline depth, so you want to make sure that you're not following that neckline depth. Make sure your hands are straight. All right, so you want to cut on your starting line you ruled out in the beginning. Now after doing this, you just return it back to position like so. All right, return it back to position like so, and you're going to place it slightly on top of the um side and back. Place it slightly on top like this. Next thing, you want to rule out your lines, okay, so that you see what you're, if you're a beginner, you would need to rule out your lines like so. All the lines, you rule them out like so. But if you already know what you're doing, of course you would know where your lines are and where exactly to place your measurements. So just watch what I'm doing. I'm trying to duplicate my bust point line. So guys, I just hope you understood the process of drafting out this back piece. In case you have any question, please don't forget to drop a comment down below. All right, now this is my front and my back piece, and now I have gone ahead to cut out my main fabric. I used the pattern I just cut out now to cut out my main fabric. So this is my center front and my side front, and I've also gone ahead to cut out interfacing for it. This is the lining I'll be using for it as well. Now on this lining, I'm going to be removing about half an inch like so from the down parts of this lining. Okay, this is going to help my fabric to push up a little. Now I'm cutting out half an inch from all the lining on the front piece. Okay, now I'll just put this front aside, And then this is also the back piece. I have also cut out my material for the back. Here is the side front back and the middle back, and also my zipper allowance is there. And this is also the lining for the back piece. Now I'm also going to be removing half an inch from the down, so all the down part of your lining, make sure you cut out half an inch, you subtract half an inch from this. Is going to really help you have a neat job. Now this is the padding I'll be using. This is a soft gum stay, not the lightest of them all, but it's soft actually, so it's going to be attached to my lining, all my lining, the interface. That is what I'll be using to pad it up so that it can have some weight. And then this local padding, you can see it's a bit thick, it's not too soft. I'll be using it to pad my front piece, both the center front and the side front. So in clearer terms, your breast pad is to your main fabric, while the soft gum stay is to your lining. So now watch the way I am cutting out my padding. You can see how I cut it out. Just look at how it is. You can see I had to curve it out. Make sure you give it this curve, okay, so that after joining, it's going to really stand out well, just like already made cups. Now guys, I have gone ahead to attach my gum stay to my lining, all my lining, okay. So do this to all the lining, front and back. If you don't have a pressing iron, you can use a pin to hold it down. Then after sewing, you can now go ahead and iron them. Alright guys, I will be stopping this video right here. You can see it's already too long, so I have all my materials prepared. I have all my front and back well padded and prepared. So I'll be doing a part 2 of this video on how I'm going to be joining it. Make sure you want to put your notification bell so that when I post that video, you're going to see it. Alright, so I'll be stopping this video here. Just watch out for the part 2, which is the joining of this beautiful 6 pieces bustier blouse. Make sure you don't miss the part 2 of this video, because I'm not only going to be showing you how I joined it, but we're also going to be doing a patchwork on, remember the cutout I showed you earlier, we're going to be using it to patch on this blouse. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.